welcome to Just Koryzma, episode 13. I'm your host, Brandon Koryzma. Alongside me today is my buddy, Brandon Payne. How you doing, man?
Good, how are you doing?
Pretty good. So Brandon, he details cars, and he plays a lot of games and likes hockey.
Yeah.
So how'd you get into car detailing?
Well, my dad's actually he's the manager at Auto Smile right now, and he's been working on auto body pretty much his whole life. So a lot of the time when I was younger, in the summers and stuff, I'd usually go to work with him. So it wasn't something that I was necessarily oh yeah, that's something I want to do when I was younger, growing up and stuff. But it was something that I kind of had a little bit of knowledge in, at least.
Sure.
I'd done it, so I kind of knew a little bit what it was like.
Yeah.
So it was okay. I was working at the 49th at the time.
Oh yeah. Okay.
In the deli, and I think I'd worked there for about maybe 2 years or so, and I was kind of starting to get I don't know, I wasn't really liking it anymore. It was I was starting to get tired of I think the management was kind of it was the management changed over, and some people had left that were there before, and it kind of just got there's too many new people and nobody knew what they were doing. So I was kind of contemplating what I wanted to do, and I think somebody had just quit, and my dad was looking for somebody, so I was kind of okay, you know what, I'd kind of be interested in doing that if you need, if you want to train me. I don't know what I'm doing really yet, but obviously, it's cleaning cars and stuff, it can't be that bad, right? So,
right.
And he's yeah, if you want to do that, go ahead. And I'm oh, totally shocked, basically, okay, that's cool. So I basically, I put in my 2 weeks, and I was went in, and basically we did our I think I had a bit of a, I think it was the first month or so, basically I was just helping somebody, kind of, because we had we already had somebody had transitioned into a detailer, basically, for the time being. Yeah. So in between, I was just kind of helping them, and then after about a month or so, I kind of moved into my own bay or whatever.
Oh yeah, okay.
So now I just have my own kind of station or whatever that I get to work in.
Nice.
We all have our own little separate areas, and it's pretty cool. Yeah.
So do you like it, or?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I kind of like it because I can just put in my headphones, basically, and just kind of work, and you kind of know what you're doing. So it's you got your vehicle that you're gonna work on or whatever for probably the next 4 or 5 hours, basically. So it's you grab it and put it on the wash pad, start washing, put on a podcast or an album or something. Yeah. For a while, I was just listening to basically 5 or 6 albums a day, basically just downloading all new music. Yeah. And just all these new podcasts I've been listening to recently, basically. But yeah, it's not the worst way to pass time, basically. It doesn't feel it's obviously not super accomplishing or anything necessarily,
right.
But it's kind of you can do it. You don't feel the next day you wake up and you're not oh, I don't want to go to work, kind of thing. Other than you're tired and it's 7 a.m, basically. Yeah. You're not really you can't complain that much. So it's obviously I don't really look at it as something I want to do forever, but it's kind of for right now I'm pretty content with being there. So
okay. Has what's been the most frustrating part about detailing or cleaning a car?
Honestly, it's mostly a lot of people don't really. I guess people get vehicles, brand new vehicles or whatever, and they're just okay, I got a 4-year lease, so let's see, the first maybe year or so, they're going to probably take a decent care of it. After a year or 2 years or so, they stop caring. 3 years, 4 years, it's it's just totally destroyed. The vehicle's disgusting. They haven't vacuumed it once, basically, and they trade it in, they leave all their stuff in there, basically, they might take out. They end up leaving almost at least one thing, an umbrella or something that they want back for some reason, or really? Something like that. A month later, they're hey, there's an F-150 that I traded in with an umbrella in it, and we're we're gonna need more details than that. We sell F-150s here, and it's they just totally trash their vehicles, and it's they go to trade in their vehicle, and it's they don't get the value that they could because they didn't just vacuum it before. You know what I mean? If you just vacuum it once in a while, or something like that, you get these center consoles that are just it looks like they just dump in coffee in the middle of it, basically, and it's if people just don't take care of their vehicles whatsoever. And it's you see so many vehicles, they're producing so many vehicles all the time, basically. It's there really is no reason to produce any more vehicles. Yeah. But there's just people trashing the ones that there is already. They just have to be crushed or thrown out because nobody wants them at this point.
Yeah, because they're already just disgusting on the inside.
Yeah, the plastic and all that and the interiors and stuff, they're all pretty cheap now because they're trying to cut down on weight and costs and whatever. So it's the plastic gets scuffed really easy. The carpet's kind of they tear really easily and stuff. Okay. They're kind of a felt more than real carpet. So when stuff pine needles and stuff get really stuck in there, and sand and stuff like that, and hair, just you can't get it out. So it's a lot of people don't really understand that. So they're kind of complain when they get their vehicle done, and it's oh, there's all this stuff in my vehicle, and it's I can't physically get more of that out. Like, unfortunately, the vehicle is just the way that they make the vehicles now is just not as good, basically.
Yeah.
Based on trying to save money.
Right.
Which is fair, but people don't really understand that.
No, I mean, it's like customer service, though. You know, that, and unless it's done to like perfection, they usually get pretty frustrated. But at the same time, you can only do so much.
Yeah, I mean, like, you kind of if you're coming in, you have an expectation of something, really, and usually your expectation might be a little more than what the actual outcome is. But I mean, for the most part, we do a pretty good job. Like, the guys that we have right now, we haven't had anybody quit in a while now, and like, it's same with the wash bay. They're not like, I guess they're like separate from us, but like for a while we had a wash bay that was just like, it was probably all like 17, 18-year-olds basically. So it was like, they all kind of were like, I don't need a job, I just have a job.
Right.
So like, nobody really cared. Like, they were just there. Like, they were just spraying each other all the time and like just messing around all the time. One guy like backed up a vehicle like way too fast basically, and his foot like slipped or whatever, and he tried to hit the brake and he hit the gas and like went into a customer's vehicle with the customer's vehicle.
Oh.
Or no, it was into his vehicle with a customer vehicle.
That's even worse.
And he rode off his own vehicle. And it's like, now they got like a full, like, I guess everyone's probably maybe like 19, 20 year up, I guess. And it's like, they got a couple guys that are a little bit older, so they got like a bit of actual leadership and like,
right,
you know, somebody to actually give them like a little bit of direction.
Like, some direction and structure and everything like that. Yeah, that way it's not just like a shit show over there.
Yeah, because everyone was just like hacking darts basically all day and like vaping, and it was just like it was just gross.
It's like, all right, guys, let's go. You shouldn't be doing that when you're washing a car.
Yeah, all the customers like they're waiting for the vehicle and they're like, that nasty guy is just hacking a dart.
Yeah,
vacuuming my car.
It's like, does that work like that?
You missed the spot. There's a bunch of ashes there.
Yeah. Oh.
Just go back over it.
So then you mentioned that you're not sure if you want to do it forever. Do you have any ideas on what like the next, like, I guess, career or anything that you're looking at, or?
Well, I haven't really put too much thought into it. Like, it's still something that I kind of actually have to like sit down and actually think about it.
Right.
Like, I keep saying like, yeah, I just gotta think about it, but then I never actually get around to that.
Right.
So like, and I have kind of been a little bit recently, because with my accident or whatever, I was on light duty for like probably, I don't know, like maybe 3 or 4 months or so.
Right.
And it was kind of like in transition of, I wasn't detailing, so I was helping. We have a guy that does tint, and he does like auto. What is it? It's called like vinyl wraps on cars.
Yep.
So like complete like color changes. He does like, or like pinstripes and all that kind of stuff. So I was helping him with like stuff like that. And I was kind of like thinking about maybe doing something like that. But it wasn't really. A lot of it was because I couldn't do a whole lot for a while.
Right.
I could only help with like some things, so it was like a lot of standing around.
Okay.
And I just started to get really bored, and it was like I kind of got disinterested. So then I kind of looked at like we have a paint shop in there as well. So I was kind of looking at painting a little bit, like maybe that could be something that I could try. But I kind of thought about it, and my dad made a good point that it's kind of something that's like, I mean, like, you can learn it, but it's something you need patience for, and like if you mess up, you can potentially have to restart entirely. So like, you could do a corner blend on a bumper, and like if you mess one thing up, you might have to restart that entire thing, and say that took you 4 or 5 hours. Now it's like it's taking you 10 hours basically to do that 4-hour thing or whatever, right? So it's like, and you're getting paid commission typically, so it's like you get paid for what you do. So if it takes you twice as long to do the thing, then you're losing money, right? So it's like, I don't know, I kind of looked at that and I thought about it, but then when it kind of came back to a point where we had a guy detailing in my spot for about 2 weeks, I think, and then he quit. So I was like, you know what, I'll just take the leap and see if I can. I don't know if my body's gonna hold up or not, but I'm just gonna take the leap, go back into detailing, because you know, I can't stand around for it any longer. Basically, I was getting pretty bored. So for now, detailing is kind of back where I'm at, but I kind of like am thinking about the painting thing a little bit in the back of my head. But I don't know, I think I'm going to try to look at something maybe to go into school for, because I do want to go to school, I just don't know what for.
Yeah.
So like, if I had the money, I don't want to spend, like, get a student loan and then just like do something basically just because. So it's kind of like, I'd rather have, even if it's not all the money or whatever necessarily, like if I have a decent sum of the money and I know what I want to do, it's kind of like, it's kind of a lot better than taking a student loan, not knowing what you're doing, you know, taking a course for a year or 2 and then out of year 4 or whatever, and then giving up and having all this money that you owe.
Exactly.
And it's like, that's kind of pointless to me.
Well, exactly. And like, even if you save up for the first couple of years, that means that gives you kind of time to save up for the next couple. Because that would like while you work through school and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a lot of people kind of give themselves a bit of a like a handicap in a way. Like they're just like, it's like a lot of people will move out at the same time as they're going to school and get a new car. It's like you should do one or two at the same time, not three. Like it depends on what you can handle. Like if your job or whatever, or your savings or whatever can kind of hold you in that scenario, then you can take the two maybe. But putting all that on your plate, it's like a lot of people like to just overload basically.
It's like a lot of the tradesmen who went up north, how they would just buy like a house and a truck, and then all of a sudden they lost their job, and then they're like, they're just hooped because now they can't pay for anything.
Well, it's like a lot of them, they're thinking they're gonna have this job forever too.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what they're thinking, and their expenses get to that cost, and then it's like they're going out and they're spending all this money all the time because they're used to being able to just blow it basically because they got a lot of extra money. But it's like if you were putting that into savings, even though it's not gonna last you forever, that's going to get you probably to your next job opportunity, hopefully.
Exactly, right?
As opposed to just being in the hole, because then it's like now you got to sell your house, sell your car, and whatever else you have potentially to kind of get back on your feet, and then now you're probably not even out of the hole still.
No, so and now if anything, you're still like halfway in that hole. You're still trying to find dirt to pile up on top to get out.
Yeah, people just, I mean, it's kind of, I guess, a lack of, in school they don't really teach anybody about like kind of budgeting and anything like that. No. And it's not like, I mean, like I don't budget very well myself, but it's like I'm not in a situation where I didn't put myself into like a new car just where I'm paying off something every month, or like my insurance isn't that much or anything. Like I don't have too many expenses right now, so it's not like the amount of money that I'm blowing or whatever, like wasting, it's like it's like I'm getting it back, and
minimal.
It's like it's not putting me back ever. Yeah. It's like if anything, I'm still kind of going forward at least a little bit. So it's
I mean, as long as you can save like $100 a month or something. I mean, it's gonna add up eventually, right?
Especially right now, like if like a lot of people, if you're living at home or whatever, like I'm living at home right now, it's like I should be saving my money more than I am. So I've been more conscious of that now, especially just because I wasn't working for a while. And then I saw my paycheck go down so much, basically. Like, I went from, like, 80 to, like, 40 hours or whatever a paycheck. Yeah. So it was like, oh, crap, okay. I guess I'm going to stop spending so much money because I don't have any. But then now I'm starting to get back up, and it's like I see myself wasting money again. It's like, okay, I got to chill out, get my hours back up, and just start saving my money, basically, and be smart about it. Yeah. There's no point in, like, all the money that I'm wasting right now, I mean, it's just money. Like, that's what it's for. It's to spend. But at the same time, it's like, you don't want to just be putting yourself like if you're not going anywhere, you're just sitting in the same area basically, and you're never really going forward. You're not doing yourself any favors. Yeah, because I mean, like I think saving money is great, but I also think you got to spend a bit to enjoy yourself. Like you can't just sit in
there's got to be a good balance. Yeah, like you don't want to just sit at home and sleep all day or something like that. You just want to be able to enjoy yourself and enjoy like being out with your friends and stuff. But I think there is, depending on, I guess, what kind of situations you put yourself in, you should be able to budget and save enough that every month or so you are going up. You don't want to have that, like, it's the stress of having a bill, like, that you can't pay for. Oh, yeah. It's kind of like, even when I'm thinking about, I don't know, I got to put a $50 tank of gas, to fill my $50 tank. It's like, I only have $100 or whatever. Okay, that's leaving you with, like, $50. Yep. Now it's like, if you had to fill your tank again, or when you go to fill your tank again or whatever, that's going to take about a week or whatever for you to use all your gas. Over that week, you're spending that $50, guaranteed. Oh, for sure. Food or whatever, right? Probably within the next day, if you didn't spend it all that day, where's your gas money? Like, now you're like, I don't even have gas money, I can't get to work, I can't do anything, basically. So it's like, you basically have to, like, if, your friends want to go out every weekend, you got to try to go out, like, maybe, you still want to go out, but, like, you can't go out every weekend. Or if you go out, try not to spend as much money, basically, like, some people will go and drink like 15 beers. It's like you could drink probably 8 and be like, be better. You'd be in the same. You'd be way better off. You're not gonna feel like crap the next day. Well, you're probably still gonna feel a little crappy, but you're gonna have to spend a lot less money. You're probably gonna actually be way more of a, not a buzz, but you're gonna be way more of a happier drunk probably. Yeah, because I mean, people just go overboard all the time with everything. It's no moderation basically. There's no moderation. They're all just they just want to get as much as they can. Yeah, and it's just like, nope, you probably shouldn't do that, but whatever. I mean. Yeah. It's like, you ever see those memes where it's like, has like $800 in my bank account, spends $2, checks bank account, $3 left, and you're like, like, what? Yeah. So sometimes you don't really realize like the $5 purchases that add up, like, because you're thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna get like a pack of gum or something, or a pop or something like that, and it's like, it's only like $2 or $3 or whatever, and then it's like, next thing you know, you spend $30 and you thought you spent like $5 basically.
Yeah.
It's like back of your head $5, and then it adds up to like whatever, and then next thing you know, it's like you have no money.
Yeah, like at my old job, I had my buddy. He never brought a lunch, so he'd always buy lunch, and he'd buy something like every break. So he'd spend like $10 to $30 like a day on like food, and like because he'd buy like a couple Gatorades, he'd buy like a $6 sandwich, and it's like, so every week it's like you've probably spent like a day's wages on like just like your lunches. It's like you pack a lunch, save so much money.
Yeah, I think for a while I was going to Tim Hortons every morning, so that was probably like a minimum of $3 to $6, and then wasn't bringing lunch, so I'd probably go to like Wendy's or McDonald's. That's like probably $9 to $12 there. So right away, you know, that's $20 a day on just breakfast and lunch.
Yeah.
And then it's like you're probably, I mean, every day you're spending whatever else on whatever else you actually have to spend it on. So it's like you're just adding unnecessary, budget basically.
For sure, right? It's unnecessary expenses.
But I know people, a lot of people, it's kind of like you don't want to go to the grocery store and spend $150 or whatever. But it's like you're spending like say $300 on McDonald's that week or whatever, or month, or that's probably an exaggeration. If you spend $300 a week on McDonald's, you should settle it. But yeah, it's like you're probably spending way more money on your going out basically than you would be going to the grocery store, because you're gonna like portion out like way more food out of your food at the grocery store.
For sure,
you're getting a way better deal, obviously.
Yeah,
you're getting real food most likely.
Yeah, real food,
which is obviously more beneficial.
For sure. So in the middle of the show, we like to do a segment called the motivational moment. So in the motivational moment, we're going to talk about like your passion and everything like that. So for me, I want to ask is, in 5 words or less, how do you describe your passion?
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to think of that because I'm still kind of in like the process of kind of trying to find what necessarily is my passion that I want to pursue, more or less. Like,
right.
Like, the things I like the most basically are like hockey and music, and I don't know, like obviously in terms of a career, I don't see myself, like I don't play any instruments or anything, so like I don't see myself being in that lane basically, right. And I don't see myself like singing or anything because I can't sing, and same with like sports and stuff. It's like I don't see myself being professional, considering I'm 23 and I'm not in any shape to play professionally anything at this moment. Not that could, you see some people go to the Olympics in like 9 months of training, but they're just like freaks of nature basically.
Yeah.
But I think in terms, when I look more of it though as a hobby, I guess, I've kind of thought about things like if I was looking at hockey or whatever, even just writing up things about it, like even just blog posts.
Yeah.
Like those guys I was telling you about with the Stick and Ring podcast, they told me like if you want to write in anything, and if you have any write-ups or whatever, you can send it in. So I've thought about stuff like that for hockey in terms of like, because I'm always like looking up all the, like this whole, today was the free agency opened up, and I was just like, from the moment I woke up basically, just like scouring at every little thing basically that was on my screen.
Yeah, okay.
Just, all of it going in my brain. But in other terms, for music, I also look at that like for a hobby, for that, like it's kind of like, I don't know, you would do that would be kind of worth spending your time on, in a sense. Like I've looked at like kind of because I kind of like to listen to, I try to like keep my mind open to like a lot of different stuff now. I was pretty closed-minded before, like I was only gonna listen to like backpack rap or whatever, like like stuff that's like Lyrical Miracle or whatever.
Okay.
But now I'm like, okay, I'll give this this artist more of a chance, even though in my opinion I thought that they were like not very good or whatever, but I never listened to them. So like now it's like I'm listening to more artists in different genres, like R&B, some like different genres of rap, I guess, some stuff in like metal and all that. And it's like now that I'm kind of listening to it differently, okay, I'm kind of getting a better kind of hear or listen of it. So like I kind of thought about making like playlists and stuff of like music that's like, I mean there's already stuff like that like for sleepers or whatever, but like music that people maybe haven't really heard of like artists, not necessarily that I haven't heard of, but like there's a lot of B-side tracks on albums that people don't really listen to, because it's like you listen to like the radio hits or whatever, and then there's like a bunch of B-side stuff that no one knows.
Okay.
And like that's usually where the good stuff is technically in most albums. So I thought about like making lists or something like that, or at least writing stuff up like for that. But I kind of, in terms of like for passion still, it's kind of like I still gotta try and find something that like I still haven't like made my jump to anything, so like nothing's like kind of pulled me in yet. So I'm kind of like looking for that still. So I don't know if I could really put it into a description of 5 words or less necessarily.
That's fair.
Like I still gotta open my mind more than I'm still kind of trying to get out of my shell and trying to open up to more things.
I mean, that right there, man.
Yeah.
Just getting out of my shell.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Like, that's awesome. That's cool. I mean, it's like, I find it, like, at least with nowadays, this generation, a lot of people are have a lot more anxiety. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't want to, or like, they're just always scared because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to do something wrong. They don't want to, everyone's very sensitive. They don't want to hurt anyone or anything like that. But, so everyone just, like, hides in their shell. But, I mean, like taking that first step outside your shell is, like, it's groundbreaking. Like, it's like, then it's like you start to see this, I guess, like a new side of the world kind of thing, where it's like you could take a little more risks. Not necessarily like, don't take these crazy risks, but you'll start taking, oh yeah, I'll do that. Or, like, whether it be like, oh, I'll try this new food I haven't tried, or like you've been doing, like listening to new artists or giving them more of a chance. Mm-hmm. Or like, it seems like you'd be like, since you're so into NHL and stuff, like to the hockey and stuff, like I could totally see you writing some of those things onto for the podcast. Like, that's cool, like all that stuff. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. With the I guess like after, like for a while after my accident, I was kind of just like not really, like, because I was like sore or whatever. It's kind of like, it felt like I couldn't do anything, even though like I wasn't gonna do damage. It was like, well, if I'm sitting here and I'm sore and I go to play hockey or something, or go out to the bar or whatever, I'm gonna be even more sore because that's doing an activity.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's kind of like more in your head. You kind of put yourself in a bit of a mental like cripple in a way.
Yeah, like,
so it's like
a psychological barrier kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's like, I just more of recent, I've just been like, if somebody asks me to do something, I'm just kind of try to say yeah, like, even if I'm like, I don't know, like, I'm just gonna be like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. And like, worst case scenario, if I'm not having that good of a time, I can just leave. Like,
well, that's just it, right? It's like, yeah, you gave it your shot, and you know what, it wasn't for you, or I'm not feeling it, so I'm just gonna, like, there's,
give it a fair chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
The old college try.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I'm glad. That's cool, man. So thanks for participating in the segment. But so you're really into hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
So I know you like other genres and stuff, but what specifically about that genre speaks to you on such a level that like makes you so interested in it? Because I know you're a huge fan of Tech Nine and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think it's probably because when I was, like, I guess around grade 7 or so, like, that time I basically didn't really have my own musical taste, I guess. It was kind of like, when you're trying to figure out what you like and stuff, like, when you're younger and you listen to, like, Crazy Frog or something weird, like, you listen to all kind of weird stuff, like Black Eyed Peas, because it was, like, the popular thing, or whatever. Like, all those kind of stuff. You don't really listen to anything because you listen to it. And I feel like, actually, there's a lot of people that's like a majority of people is still, they never really found their musical taste, basically.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, like, they don't really listen to music all the time. They just listen to whatever's on the radio. Like, that's all that they hear. So it's like, that's kind of why those things are the most popular. But I guess when I think it was around grade 7, I was hanging out with my buddy Dustin, and his friend came home from a party, and he was like totally just like wasted. And he was like hanging from this chin-up bar, and he's like he was like muttering about Tech Nine, and we're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, okay, just Google like Tech Nine. And I think it was Caribou Lou first.
Oh yeah.
And so I listened to that, and I'm like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. And then we listened to Riot Maker, and I was like, oh wow, this is like really cool. Like, this is totally different. Like, this is more of a, like, that one was like a party one. This one's more of like, sounds like a rock song kind of, but like with rap. Like, I've never heard anything like that, because like everything I had heard was like, I used to think like Lil Wayne and like, kind of like the radio Kanye and Jay-Z and stuff. I was kind of like, oh, that's what rap is, so I don't really like that. Or like Lil Jon, like that really turned me away from it, because I was like, oh wow, that's what rap is. And I feel like that's what turns a lot of people away.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you look at it right now, you look at like Lil Uzi or Lil Pump and like Lil Yachty and all these people, and it's like that's gonna turn people away. Like, nobody wants to listen to that. And like a lot of people, like if you're not a fan of hip hop or whatever, you're probably not gonna like that. If you're a person that doesn't like rap in general or whatever, or the idea of it, you're not gonna like that at all. And if you're one of these people that listens to just whatever people listen to, then you're just going to listen to it, basically.
Yeah.
And because it's gotten down to a certain point of stupidity, I guess, in a sense, people are just kind of like, it's just getting downgraded. But basically, I guess I kind of developed my musical taste around that time, and that was kind of, I guess it was a little like mind opening for me. Like it was the first kind of music that I'd heard that kind of drew me in. Like I kind of actually was like, oh, I actually like this for myself and not because someone else liked it.
Right.
So then I kind of like delved into that a little bit, and that's when I kind of I'd heard about Tupac and Biggie and stuff, and Easy, but I never had really like kind of like researched them at all. So like when I did a lot of like research on like a lot of artists and stuff, and that kind of like, once I got into like the artistry side of it, like, and kind of looking at them as like a person as opposed to like a celebrity or whatever.
Yeah.
So you kind of get to know like their personal side, whereas a lot of artists, I mean, you see a lot of like openness and personal stuff from a lot of artists, but in like hip hop, rap music, a lot of it's more like personally expressed.
Yeah. Like
so a lot of the time they're talking, like it almost seems like you know them in a sense. Yeah. They could be completely like, a lot of it is like braggadocious or whatever. It's all just like trying to be like, you know, bragging or whatever, like swag or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of it is exaggeration, but the more personal storytelling stuff, you kind of actually get like a side of them in a sense.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, like a lot of people that I listen to, the types of stuff that they write about is more I guess storytelling stuff. So it's more stuff that you can relate to, and it's not like, I mean, not necessarily like you can relate to something like a completely level eye to eye or whatever. Like a lot of the stuff that they're rapping about or whatever, like obviously I've never been through, but it's like some of the things, like the feelings or whatever, that it like they're able to like kind of put that energy into the song kind of.
Yeah.
You can hear that, whatever it is like that they've been through, basically you can actually hear that energy or that pain or that like you know, happiness or whatever, or like proudness or whatever in their voice basically, and it kind of makes you feel it too. So if like you have any kind of thing that can relate with that, basically kind of like strikes a chord in a way. So like to me, I think like with the music I'm listening to, I mean, there's in a lot of genres there's artists that can write music really well, but like even if you put up like the best songwriter of like any other genre versus the best songwriter of like rap or hip hop, it would just be like to me it wouldn't compare, because just like the amount of what's it called, like technicality basically that's put into, like when you look at an artist like Eminem basically, or Tech Nine, like he likes to use a lot of alliteration, so like he'll do like a whole like 16 bars or something with just like all starting with words with like F or whatever, or just like all A or something like that. So like they try, like Eminem's like a total like word nerd too, and he tries to like, I think it was him, he was saying something to do with, he basically uses like math, so he's like, he tries to see how many words he can fit with a certain amount of breath with a certain amount of like whatever it was, like time or whatever, and so he basically gets it down to technical science, and so that he basically keeps working it until he can get every single word in there that he can fit that actually makes sense and sounds really good to him. And he just picks it until it's perfect in his brain basically. And like those types of people that are just meticulous, and they're putting way more time and effort into their craft basically. They actually are passionate about it, as opposed to these people that are just like, half of them aren't writing their stuff, they're, you know, the production's carrying them basically. They just have really a lot of money put into them basically, and they don't have any real talent. Like they may have put out like one good song that was like they caught a hit basically,
right? Yeah.
And then now there's a 19-year-old kid that has no idea what he's doing, doesn't even know how to write a song really. He was just messing around, and he's got like $1 million deal or whatever, and he probably owns like 3% of his stuff because he's stupid.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then it just totally ruins their life basically, because now they've got all this money that they think they're gonna have for the rest of their life basically, and they have it. It goes away in like no time. Yeah, they're stuck in a contract and they can't even make music. Like they're not cut out to be an artist basically. Yeah. They got like a 1 to 2 3 year window, and you look at a guy like J. Cole or like, you know, like Kendrick or whoever, and they're gonna be there forever basically, 10, 15 years. 20 years, 30 years.
Because they're taking the time to make sure that everything's doing it right, and like
timeless, basically.
It's totally. And like, I mean, I don't know how about you, but like this like mumble rap or something, I think that's just making the genre look bad. I mean, for me, that's just not for me. I don't like. I like to be able to like understand what they're saying, and when I don't understand it, I eventually get it anyways, because sometimes it's just too fast. Like Tech Nine, super fast rapper.
Yeah.
But like if once you listen to the song enough, you can more or less make out all the words, and I like that, instead of like mumble rap where it's like, you have to like, it just doesn't.
It's the only reason that you can't pick it up is because it's more or less like, it's just such a technical, like you can't just, it's almost like you can't just sit there and be like, and like listen to it. You kind of have to like sit there and like kind of open your ear a little bit. So I think that's why it's not as easy to digest, which is why a lot of people, like, sonically, it doesn't sound as good to them, like, because they're sitting there and they're not really paying attention to where all the effort's put into. They're mostly, like, listening to the beat or whatever, and they're just kind of, like, nodding. So when you listen to, like, mumble rap or whatever, or, like, any of these, like, hits or whatever, the beat, like, the production or whatever, there's a lot of money put into it, and the production's gotten really good. The equipment that they're using is, like, so good now at this point. They're getting totally carried by the production, and it's, like, that beat is really nice, but, like, if you put a real rapper over that, like, it would be unbelievable. And it's like, if there wasn't so much, I mean, you're seeing more independent rappers and labels popping up here and there all over now. People are owning more of their music and stuff, but it's like, with all the labels that are still there, they still kind of hold the majority of the field. So it's kind of like, until they go away entirely, like, the music industry is shady in every sense of every genre, but it's like, music in general would just be better if there wasn't so much, I guess because it's a business, it's going to be, like, kind of manipulated in that way.
Yeah.
But because of the way that money and business is treated, it definitely, like, puts a hamper on the music, because it kind of just it makes people either make a certain sound,
right?
Like, I have to sound like that because that's what's popular and selling. So now I'm not going to do what my sound is, basically. So they never find their sound, basically, and then by the time that they would find their sound, it's like nobody wants to listen to them anymore.
Yeah, that's why I like old school rap, because everyone was very unique. Like, I guess, like, Tupac, he was very stubborn on being, like, his way, and, like, I was, like, watching. I've read a little bit about him and watched most of All Eyes on Me, and, like, it's like just seeing how he was in the studio. It's like, no, like, don't. I want people to hear me take a breath. I want people to hear, like, everything from my mouth. It's like they get more feeling, more.
Yeah.
It's more unique as well. It's just like it's
raw.
His. Yeah, it's just his raw style, and then it's like Tech Nine with the speed rapping, because that guy's so ridiculously good at it.
Yeah.
Like, Worldwide Choppers is just ridiculous.
Yeah, he actually he puts them out a lot more recently. This Instagram videos that he's been doing, where he's like it's kind of like a shot at like bad rappers or whatever, and it's here's a little, like, rap lesson or whatever, and it's basically, like, talking about how the way that he writes his music, basically, he writes it to perform. So, like, he's got that in mind. So, like, as opposed to just writing a song and then, like, not thinking about how it performs on stage. Like, there's a lot of songs that would either perform well on stage or not. So, like, based on your set list, that's probably what you would pick.
Yeah.
He has songs that would probably perform not maybe too well on stage, so he doesn't obviously perform those. And then he has ones that are, like, very good on stage. Like, that's why he's probably has, like, the best stage performance that, like, I've only seen. Like, I mean, I've been to Pemberton, like, Pemby Fest and all that, and I went to Sunfest, which was trash, but, like, I've been to some festivals here and there. Like, I think I went to Rock on the Shores, so nothing really that crazy, but, like, out of all the people that I've seen, basically, and from what I've read online, like, he definitely has the best stage show that I've seen and read about. And this year he's been just, like, putting more into it. Like, he finally he doesn't wear the face paint anymore, because his face painter finally quit or whatever, and then I believe what happened, it takes, like, ridiculous amount of time or whatever, and he didn't have anybody to do it, so he got in touch with Corey Taylor of Slipknot to get a mask made.
Okay.
So it's like it's like his face paint but a mask instead.
Okay.
So he has, like, 3 different masks, and so it's 3 personas: the king, the G, and the clown. He basically comes out as, like, 3 different personas. So, like, in between things, he's, like, changing costumes and, like, masks and stuff. And there's gonna have he's got boards up right now of projectors of him that like perform with him. But he's gonna have they're working on holograms right now.
Oh, dang!
So he's gonna have holograms out there with him. So it's gonna be crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's like he's just like his energy is like he's like 50 something at this point. He's still like because he's working out every day. Like he basically has to keep in shape for performing.
Yeah.
But he's performing like ridiculous amount of days. Like I think he just got off tour like 66 days, and he did like probably 65 shows or something, like 63 shows, like something ridiculous like that. And he's just like a monster basically.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's insane.
I just wanted to thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it. So like, where can people find you if they're interested in? You have an Instagram?
Yeah, I don't really post too much on Instagram, like, or my Facebook really. Mostly just on Twitter right now.
Okay.
I've kind of been not too active because I've been seeing a lot of annoying stuff on Canucks Twitter today with all the people complaining. But
fair enough.
I've been trying to be a little active again because it's been quiet. But I guess, well, I'm trying to think of what it is. I think it's like B Payne 19 or something.
Okay.
I can't remember. Something like that.
Yeah, you can just text it to me or something later.
Yeah, sounds good.
So then if you like the show, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Check out the other episodes. And before we go, what's your favorite hockey team? Because I know you're a big hockey guy.
Vancouver Canucks.
Vancouver Canucks.
The Flow.
I like it. So I hope you like the show. If you do, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.